Still Mills, what's the deal, man? I'm back like I never left. It's Monday, top of the week. Top of the morning, top of the week. You dig? I had to go pick my daughter up from summer school. She did some wild shit happening up there at her school with the, just the scheduling and all that. So I had to go pick her up. I got up early, showered, I dropped her off initially. Came, after I dropped her off, I came back to the crib and I got to, cleaning and everything, and, prepping what it is that I'm going to eat for dinner for the night. You dig? And she just so happened to hit me back, yo, man, something's acting up with the schedule and whatever, so I need you to come and pick me up. So, boom, I went and I swooped her up. So now I'm heading to work and we can get into what it is I want to talk about. So, peep game, man. Let's talk about it, man. I kind of want to condense this video into Charlo and Plant and, Lamana and Resendiz and all that, man. First off, it's a lot of people and Berlanga too. I really want to talk about him too. That this fucking cornball. But everybody banging on Plant, right? And this is why I keep yo, you need to get the fuck away from the PBC. Because actually, before we even get into all that, and I didn't want to say nothing on Facebook right on my page immediately because we're friends on Facebook, but Caleb may have to start thinking about stepping away from Bread Man. You dig? He may have to think about going and getting somebody, going elsewhere, Brody, because since he's been with Bread Man, he went to Bread Man right after he lost to Canelo. So in your 4 fights with Bread Man, you 2-2. You dig? And I just don't understand how you could lose to Resendiz. You dig? I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, but do you lose to Resendiz before you went to Bread Man? I'm not so sure, man. But let's talk all right, Charlo and Lamana, man, because there's a lot of people who feel Charlo would have did this and that and the third to Plant because, predicated on what Resendiz did. And I'm like, that man, Charlo doesn't add the same type of pressure that Resendiz does. He doesn't. Charlo's a dude who likes to work off the counter, work behind the jab, stay at a certain range to where he can get full extension on that jab and walk you into an uppercut potentially, man. That's Charlo's game. That's Charlo's game. Charlo's game ain't necessarily in the pocket. He can fight in the pocket, but he's not a dude who's gonna add that type of pressure to what I'm saying, to get forehead to forehead. That's just not really his game. So he's gonna fight at a range to where he's not, it's not gonna be as tumultuous with the Charlo because of the range that he fights at if he's in front of a Caleb Plant. And looking at Charlo based on how he did Cornflake Lamana I think it's disingenuous to look at a potential fight with Caleb Plant through that same lens, because Cornflake Lamana is not the same caliber opponent of a Resendiz, bro. Resendiz, he's not. He's not, bro. He's just, I don't know, bro. Just he's all over the place. His feet is he's just like unsteady on his feet. This is a dude who got knocked out in the first round by Lara, dog. Like comatose. This man, I remember watching that shit live. Like, dag, he did that to that dude. So I don't know, man. You can't look at Charlo like he's all of a sudden Resendiz based on how he did Lamana, when Charlo he doesn't fight like that, and Lamana is not the caliber opponent that Armando is. He's not at all, actually. Yeah, I think that's wild to, oh man, just look at how Charlo did. I'm like, nah, bro, nah. And the same thing with Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga has been a dude who just within the past few fights, all of a sudden he's trying to base his entire, like I said, he went completely, he went in the opposite direction of his fighting identity, which was being a bruiser, just someone being in the pocket, getting, stepping on shit, getting motherfuckers the fuck up out of here. Now you want to talk this IQ shit, you know what I'm saying? Man, nah. So I'm not convinced that them two would beat a Caleb Plant. I'm really not convinced of that. I'm not convinced of that. And when you look at Charlo has not been in the face of a certain level. Charlo hasn't been in front of the caliber opponents that Caleb Plant has. He hasn't. And he's fully acclimated to 168 pounds, man. Charlo has had what, one fight with a, you know, with a middleweight. He's had one fight with that dude, and that dude is not the, you know, he's not a highly rated opponent at middleweight, let alone super middleweight. So you ain't been in there with somebody who's gonna force you to work and see where your gas tank is at, man. It really puts you in a position where you gotta adjust and can, you know, your punches aren't having the same type of effect on this individual right here. You know, he hasn't put you through those gears. You haven't been through those gears at 168 pounds. And I don't even think it was really out of that. You know, I don't think he really went through it at 160 pounds. Caleb Plant has. You dig me? So all this bullshit about Berlanga and Charlo gonna go in there and do this and then the third to Caleb Plant, I'm like, you gotta prove that. You gotta prove that. So as far as the fight is concerned, man, I think Caleb Plant got off to a fast start, man. The dude's, he has really good feet, really good counter puncher, really fast hands. The dude is Caleb Plant is a good fighter. Caleb Plant is a good fighter, man, but I don't know what it is with this dude, but his gas tank just wanes as he gets deeper in the fight. It wanes, and when someone is adding a certain amount of pressure to you, that's where you really begin to see, yo, man, this dude's tank is starting to dissipate rapidly. And even when his tank starts to wane, bro, he still wants to step in behind lead hooks and lead uppercuts. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can if you're in front of an opponent that isn't compromising your gas tank. But Armando was one of them dudes you can do that in front of, man. This dude is he's been in there with a certain caliber of opponent. Now, I don't think Garcia and Jared Hurd are the caliber fighters of a Caleb Plant. But the thing is, they're bigger punchers, and he stood in the pocket and banged out with him. Yeah, he got stopped by Elijah, but they was in there rumbling. They're bigger punchers than Caleb Plant. And they also know you have a history of gassing out in front of you. Have a history of gassing out, so you ain't punching with the same level of authority as them. So if I could just keep constant pressure added to you, because I mean that expends your gas tank when you got to consistently push somebody off, and you got to punch with a certain level of authority to keep somebody off, and you're not punching with that same type of authority as others. So it's wearing on your gas tank that much more because you're hitting these dudes as hard as you possibly can, and they're not going nowhere. You're not putting a dent in them. It's that much more exhausting punching on a bigger and more broader dude who you just can't hurt. And the dude is tapping you to the body as well, and you still want to sit there and keep throwing lead hooks, and not even just lead hook, like starting a combination off with the hook. No, you're around about mid-range, and you step it into the hook, or you step it into the uppercut. And I'm like, bro, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Why? Like, dog. You dig? It's like, you're getting hit a lot more. Because even there was no reason why McCumbee should have even been able to drop you like that. Even I don't think he dropped you severely, on the chin, or by getting hit, clipped on the chin. But just he was clipping you on the chin though, and I'm like, yo, you supposed to be a defensive special, a defense first fighter. You should not be getting clipped like this by Trevor McCumbee. Now, granted, yeah, everybody gets hit. Everybody gets hit in the sport of boxing, man. But for a dude who had never been in a 10-round fight, for him to be in there with you, and he got you in there rapping, wrapping up and all that, it's like, bro, what is going on? What is going on? And then you in there with Resendiz, and then this shit happens. It's like, man, yeah, you don't need to be doing that shit, bro. You need to stay behind your straight shots. You don't need to be stepping in behind hooks and uppercuts. Stay behind your straight shots. 1-2, get out. 1-2, get out. 1-2, get out. And not even get out. Don't get out, spin out. Pivot off that backhand. Pivot off that backhand. You'll expend more energy backing up and circling the ropes than you would just pivoting and forcing somebody to reset like that. Yeah, I'm like, man, I don't. It might be time for Caleb Plant to get away from bread, man. That's fucked up for me to say. But for his career, bro, you gotta think about that. Because you should not be getting hit like this. And you should not be losing to the Resendiz. You just shouldn't be. Dude moved up, bro. What you mean? You a former champion in this division. You don't... Ah, man. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. I'm watching this because I'm thinking, oh yeah, Caleb Plant got this in the bag. He got this in the bag. He didn't. You getting cut over the eye, the bridge of the nose. I'm like, what in the fuck is this? But shout out to Armando, because I think now he's a player in the division. Man, that division is deep, man. That division is deep. Caleb Plant is still a player there. Berlanga, Hamza Shiraz done officially moved up. And you still got Canelo up there. And under, you know, all these cats are under Canelo. And under him, you still got Jaime Munguia, Christian Mobility, Diego Pacheco, Lester Martinez, Oslasi Iglesias. You can go 10 deep in this division. And then I'm going to speak on this fight as well. You got Beck the Bully and Darius Fulgham. I'm gonna speak on that as well. But you could go 10, 12 deep in the 168-pound division, man, with notable names. Notable names. So, man, the division is deep. Motherfuckers is gonna lose. Nobody is coming out of that division unscathed, dog. It just is what it is. But I'm saying all that to say, bro, you was a champion in this division, my man. You was a champion in this division. You should not be losing to Resendiz. You shouldn't be. This is why I feel like you need to take your ass over there with Turkey. If you was gonna lose to somebody like that, you should have lost to a Christian Mobility or a Diego Pacheco, somebody on, even a Edgar Berlanga, bro. You should have lost to somebody, whose profile is a little bit higher than Armando. You should have lost to one of them. You don't lose to Armando. And I don't think Armando is a bad fighter. And I don't think it's a bad loss. Personally, I don't. But just in the grand scheme of things, man, if you're going to lose to somebody, you lose to somebody who's fully acclimated to the division. And I'm gonna just keep shit a stack with you. I was never excited about Plant versus Charlo. I made a video about it. I was never excited about that fight, dog. Like, nah, I don't want to see it. And, I still don't really want to see it because they're better fights. There are better fights. I'm not excited about, like, what is... Okay, let's see what Charlo does after this fight. Because even then, he talking about, yo, man, I want my lick back. And, man, go get some more fights, bro. Like, why are you looking in the direction of a Charlo? I just don't get it, bro. I just don't get it. Let Charlo prove his worth. Let him show that, yo, all right, yeah, I'm back and I'm here to stay. I'm back and I'm here to stay. I ain't taking no more 2 and 3 years off and years off. I'm not doing that. I'm here to stay. Let him prove that, though. Let him prove that. So I was never excited about that. There's bigger and better fights for you. There's bigger and better fights for you. But you may need to leave Breadman. You might have to leave him, bro, because it's only going to get worse. You're getting older now. You're getting older. These fights are, it's not like these fighters who are in the division are on their way out like Canelo is. These dudes ain't on their way out. Hamza ain't even got a belt yet. Berlanga ain't even got a belt yet. Jaime is 28, 29. Mobility, Pacheco, all these dudes is in their early mid 20s, maybe even late 20s. You dig? Man, you better go make this shit worth it. Go make this shit worth it. But you might have to get away from Breadman. I'm gonna keep saying that. You might have to take a step back from from Breadman. I think Breadman is a brilliant boxing mind. I honestly do, but I just feel like you need to go with a trainer who can get you comfortable in the pocket. Who can get you comfortable in the pocket, just protecting yourself and scoring, making somebody miss, making them pay, catching and shooting. Keeping somebody off balance, man. Don't step back off of the backhand pivot off of it. You know, shit like that. Protecting it. You protect yourself well enough, good enough, man. But I just, I'm just, you're getting hit a little too much now. You're getting hit a little too much. And you go back instead of stepping around, Brody. You dig? Just look how B-Ball, man. B-Ball steps to the side, bro. He pivots and shifts. He pivots around you. They'll step around you, bro. That's what B-Ball does. You back up. You'll matador, nigga. You know, you'll step around him and matador him. But that's, once in a, you'll do that once or twice in a fight. And then you back to backing up again. And that wears on your gas tank, man. Nah, man. Then you getting hit. You got to get away from bread, man. Got to get away from bread, man. That's just the long and short of it. You got to get away from bread, man. It's a career, it's a career choice. You gotta make that choice, man, because it's only gonna get worse. I can't think of shit, man. Who will we put it? Who will we put you in there with? I can't really think of I don't know what coach we will put you in front of, man. I can't put you in there. I can't say go to Freddie Roach, because Freddie Roach is gonna have you fighting like Manny Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto, and you don't punch with the same authority as them dudes, man. I'm really trying to think of somebody who works on infighting like a coach, and nobody is really coming to mind right now, man. But that's what you need. That's what you need. Shit, maybe even a Derrick James. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not Derrick James. I like how Derrick James, how he works the mix with his fighters, man, because it's more instinctive. He's not I've said this before. He's not calling out combinations. It's more instinctive. You dig? If he can get somebody to work like that from a defensive standpoint, where he's catching and shooting and shit like that, and he's really working your instincts, and we not taking halves of it, you staying right there. That would be smooth, man. Maybe you need to go get in the gym with them Philly dudes. Go get in the gym with the Philly niggas. You dig? Rozier? I don't know. I don't know. But I think that is where I think that's where you're most vulnerable at. You're most vulnerable right there. And I feel like that's something that you need to work, because your fighting identity is being this outboxer is dope, is smooth, and you're not a boring outboxer neither. But it's to the detriment of your stamina, man. You run low on, you have a history of doing this. You run low on stamina, and then you start getting clipped. Jesus Christ. So it's time to step away from bread, man, respectively. Respectfully. It's time to take that step away. And you go get in front of somebody that can get you comfortable to the point where you find a home in the phone booth, and you're able to protect yourself in that at that distance. You're catching the shots, you're shooting the shots back, you're stepping around, you're pivoting off the backhand instead of stepping back off of it. You dig? You're home. You're right there you're right there at a range where you can be hit, but they can't hit you. And the shots that do get in, it's a well-placed shot. And you're still defensively capable enough to where you can roll with the shot to take some of the sting off of it, to where it's gonna land, but it won't land with the same devastating effect as it could have had you not rolled with the shot. You need to get with a coach that can get you comfortable at that distance, because this fighting on the back foot shit is just not, bro. It's working to your detriment. It's working to everybody's detriment. You're being real, man. You slick ass niggas. So hold your head up. I like how you handled it. How you handled the loss as well. You didn't. How you handled the loss. It was real. It was sportsmanlike. It was like, yo, he got me. He got me. You didn't come up with excuses and all that. You didn't, act like no little hoe. It was like, it was just you got me. It was one of them type of things. Like, the better man won tonight. That's respectable. That's commendable. That's respectable. That is commendable. I like how you handled that, man. So, yeah. We don't need a rematch. We don't need a rematch. Just, he got that. Move on to the next one, and maybe y'all can revisit it down the line. Cause you know, just a couple of years ago, you was talking about a rematch with Canelo. That's not on the itinerary, and you know that. And I'm sure Armando is not about to sit here and try to rematch you. And it just wouldn't make sense for him to do that when the division is so deep. The division is so fucking deep. Go get drama with everybody else. You know, you're not going to retire. You're already not undefeated. Both of y'all got L's, multiple L's. Fuck it. On to the next one. On to the next one, man. So, salute to you. Hold your head up, man. Don't worry about Charlo. Do not worry about no Edgar Berlanga. No. You dig? And I really need somebody to... Oh, man, God. Hamza, I need you to do that. I'm past out of Edgar, bro. Dude is a cornball. So... that's how I'm feeling about it, man. Hold your head up. You know, it's still light at the end of the tunnel. You do not need to retire. You're still a top dog in the division. You just lost. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. You just lost. Leave it at that. Leave it at that. We on to the next one. You go 12 deep in this division. Go holler at one of them niggas and get the fuck away from the PBC. Get away from them dudes, because you do not need another 8 months, 9 months, a year layoff, because shit like this is what happens. Good fucking God, man. I'm outie, man. I'm going to work. Damn, I get with y'all later, yo. Yeah, stay righteous. Deuces.